Lee, Michelle Resistance Chicks. It's April 2nd, 2017. It is a Sunday. So a lot of you have sent us that really awesome Tommy Robinson interview. It's like an hour and a half long. We can't cover it, can't do it, but we do have some things that he shared.
He shared this on his Twitter. I just friended him on Twitter, and
they're friends now. Just kidding.
I wanted to make a quick note because someone had shared, one of our viewers had shared a neat article that showed your London coming together after the bombings, and I want to thank you for sharing that. And there was a lot of Muslims there, and they were
you mean the attack on the London Bridge?
Yes.
You said bombings. There was no bomb there.
I'm sorry. No,
it's just so easy to just say bombings. I was like,
right.
What? There were London bombings?
Slip of the tongue. You're right. After the London attack, and there was a lot of Muslims there, and he was kind of saying this, from what I understand of your comment, that London is safe, that Britain is safe, and this was a freak accident. Well, that can't be true, because one of the things that we see the Rotherham, and you recognize that sexual violence is violence.
Exactly. Even if somebody's not running into a crime with a knife, or running into a crowd of people with a knife.
Right.
I mean,
so when all those victims, you might as well have said they were knife victims. Recognize that when you molest someone, it is no different than if you stab them.
Actually,
right? When you rape them.
Kind of different. It's actually worse.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the emotional trauma, there's emotional trauma when you get stabbed, but the emotional trauma that comes with the sexual assault.
The rise in these things happening because of Muslims, and in this Muslim community, and because of Islam, and because of the different migrants.
Say that. We're going to try to just say Islam.
Right. Because of these things, it has increased the danger level in Great Britain.
Yes.
Okay? So I wanted to point that out, because not only were these sex abuse raids, because I kept wondering that there were so many victims, where are all the perpetrators? And I'm glad that they're doing this. But also, I read this the other day, and I wanted to bring this up. There have been 1,500 acid attacks recorded in London alone since 2011. Okay? So if you're saying that London is safe, but because an acid attack might be, what I was reading in the article, it's an honor thing. So it's
like
male.
what we just covered with the cutting of the hair and
everything. But not all of the victims are female. A lot of it's male, so they're not going necessarily reported, or they're not going on the news. If this went on the news, you guys would have to see one every single day.
Yeah.
Since 2011, there would be another one
almost,
in the news.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm going to get back to the Oxford raids, which is fantastic, but I wanted to show that no, London is not safe.
We don't have acid attacks going on in the United States. Just FYI. Maybe one or two, but not 1,500.
And this is actually from Yahoo News, which is leftist, progressive.
Yeah.
This is not a...
which we always say, if a leftist is covering something...
It's worse.
It's worse than what they're actually covering.
Right. So acid attacks in Britain's capital are soaring to new heights, new data reveals. Why? It's Islam, you guys. A Freedom of Information request submitted by the Mirror shows that between 2011 and 2016, London had nearly 1,500 cases of the devastating crime which burns the skin and leaves victims cowering from their injuries. In the long term, the scale of the injuries are so scarring that victims can often suffer serious psychological damage as a result of the attacks. Last year alone, there were 400, so you'd have to have over one report a day. Yeah. 431 such attacks, a rise of 170 cases from the year prior. More migrants, more Islam, right? Because it's the honor thing. We covered in our last thing. It's honor. Honor is a thing that we as Westerners do not understand. Our term of honor isn't their term of honor. And I was listening to Muslim women go to the Clarion Project, watch their documentary, as a round table of Muslim women are trying to explain to us Westerners this concept of honor, where if someone in your family does something, or someone you're related to does something, it affects your honor. And in order to regain your honor, you have to punish them, whether it's cut their hand off, throw acid on them, as we saw, cut their hair off. If it's a homosexual, you have to throw them off a building. You have to restore your personal honor that way. So the figures match a general UK trend in which the crime rate for such attacks has risen by 50% since 2005. Acid attacks in London boroughs, and it gives you Newham, y'all have some issues. It's Barking and Dagenham, as I say that right. Dagenham. Those are the highest ones. Globally, roughly 80% of victims tend to be women. Attacks are often carried out by vengeful men who have had their marriage proposals or sexual advances rebuffed.
Just hang on a minute.
Hey, you don't want to marry me? Let me just throw acid on your face. That's romantic.
You don't want me to grab you up? Let me throw acid in your face.
However, get this though, the acid attacks, 80% in the worldwide, the acid attacks are women, but because the migrants are mostly men,
yeah,
and they still have to abuse somebody, right? 71% of the victims in the UK are men.
Wow.
Okay. Yaf Shah, the executive director of the support group Acid Survivors Trust International, told The Guardian, looking at the data in general, there is a fairly large probability that a high percentage of the incidents are male-on-male attacked and most likely to be gang-related. So here's the thing. You don't have a gun? No problem. We're going to use acid. They find a way. Criminals are going to find a way.
Right.
The numbers appear to be very high and suggest, imagine if I said 1,500 shots fired.
Right.
1,500. You need to be able to use
not just shots fired, people have been wounded.
You need to be able to use your imagination, you guys. Because when you hear acid attack, you don't think gunshot. You automatically think, and you're programmed to think guns actually are more dangerous. And while they are, if shot in the right place, most of Cincinnati's gun victims survive. You're going to get a bullet and can go right through you. But guess what? You can heal from a gun wound a lot easier. You can't heal from acid on your face. You cannot heal. Your face is scarred for life.
It's awful.
Right?
It's sick to my stomach.
Okay, so a former gang member described how acid attacks have become more acceptable and were not seen as a big deal. It's like if I had said gun attacks are no big deal, what would you say to that? You have to be able to make the correlation in your mind. This is a violent, life-debilitating thing, just like a gunshot. Just like a gunshot. People don't care of the consequences. It's easy to buy most of the ingredients legally. One of my cousin was done a few years ago. He was attacked on his shoulder, and my uncle just dressed it for him at home. Acid is used as an extreme mark of dominance. It's letting the individual know, I haven't killed you, but it's almost worse than that. It's a mark on your face. It's a sinister legacy. The difficulty and emotional trauma in reporting acid attacks, you can't. A lot of people just, I guess, when I understand, a lot of these acid attacks are done just to scar somebody or to tattoo somebody. And they can also mean that the figures are severely underinflated. This could be thousands and thousands more of these. Newham and East London had the highest incidences, as I said before. So there is that. And now I want to go back to, I want to say that London is not safe. Now, just because it's happening to Muslims, is that okay?
No.
Does that mean, the white people
it's like we showed in that Tommy Robinson little quip yesterday, where he was talking to that woman, and then that man interfered, and then he's talked about all of the genital mutilation that's happening, and the guy says, well, it's only happening within the families. Or it wasn't genital mutilation, was it rape?
Yeah.
It was rape or something. It was rape, that's what it was. And the guy says, well, it's only happening in the families. And then the other guy was like, so that makes it okay.
He's talking about the Rotherham incident.
Exactly. I'm just saying,
really
like,
weird.
it's not okay just because it's Muslims. It's not okay because
Right.
it's within the family. Sydney, she's moving the camera.
Is she really?
Yeah, it's fine. Oh,
okay.
well. Real deal,
So-
you guys are coming into our house.
Oxford sex abuse rate, 7 men charged. This happened April 1st, and it's connected to another raid that happened on March 30th, so they're working it, hopefully. 7 men have been charged in connection with a major child sexual exploitation investigation in Oxford. Police officers carried out arrests on Thursday in connection with alleged sex offenses against females, which occurred between 2008 and 2015. 6 men were charged with the rape of a girl under 16, as well as other sexual offenses, while a 7th man was charged with conspiracy to rape. 6 men, all from Oxford, will appear before Oxford magistrates, and these pretty young dudes. It's very interesting because I know that there was like 1,500 victims, and there's got to be so many more perpetrators. I mean, these guys were all in one victim.
know.
Right? And then 10 faced child sex exploitation claims after Banbury raids. 10 men have been charged with 56 offenses following police raids related to child sexual exploitation claims. Warrants were carried out at addresses in Banbury, Oxfordshire on Tuesday before further arrests were made on Wednesday. The men were arrested on suspicion of rape and other offenses relating to 3 females between 2008 and 2015. Again, 10 guys, 3 females. It's so crazy. If you multiply that number by the number of like just the Rotherham victims at 1,500, you're looking at like
a lot of
15,000 perpetrators. But that, I know the trend can't go that way, but it seems to be. 8 of the men, 7 from Banbury, 1 from Birmingham, appeared before Oxford magistrates earlier. Very young guys, they were
all from Birmingham.
Right. They were remanded in custody, thank you, and are due to appear at Oxford Crown Court on the 25th of April. 2 other men
They didn't really have a place. Said no fixed abode.
So, Deputy Paul Hales of the Thames Valley Police called it a complex investigation into non-recent child sexual exploitation in town.
Wow.
So, and this is part of an operation called Operation Nautical.
That's fantastic. I think it's pronounced Thames, so you don't get all these corrections.
What did I say, Thames?
You said Thames.
The Thames.
We pronounce the TH here.
Thames.
Thames.
Sorry.
It sounds like you have a lip.
The Thames Valley Police. We haven't used our British accent for this. I wasn't sure if it would be right or proper to be using the accent in this particular instance. If I started to use the British accent with talking about acid attacks, I'm not sure how well that would go over, but
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? This is good news that they're cracking down. I know it probably seems like a drop in the bucket, but a drop in a bucket is better than a dry bucket. So, all right, you guys, this is Leah Michelle signing off for Resistant Chicks, where it is not a conspiracy theory.
The bucket
it's
is
the
better
truth.
than a dry bucket.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications, and find us on Facebook and Twitter. We love you guys. God bless. I did just make that
And the bucket is better than a dry bucket.
Hey.
Okay.
You might get more drops. It might rain.
Okay.
Okay.
I was called